Thomas Bitmatta is not just a pilot, he is a designer as well, an engineer to a degree. He does a lot of things and gets his hands dirty in the design game. For instance, did you know that he played a bit of a part in BetaFlight and the Tango 2 working so well together? Thomas is truly, truly amazing. So we talk about his gear, the things he's done, the things that he has built, the motors he's created, the frames he's created. There's one moment with the frame he's got where I'm just like, I need that. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoy this. Once again, I want to talk about my Patreon. If you're a patron, there's new benefits. It used to be that you get the podcast. You still get the podcast, but now you get a Discord server as well. So you can come in, talk to me, talk to the other folks. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, quite frankly. I'm going to be working on new benefits pretty soon, and I hope that you all enjoy this episode. Talk to you soon. Bye.
What is your preferred equipment?
Preferred equipment? Okay, so there we go.
Yep,
frame is the Impulse RC JS1, or BMS Racing JS1, if you want to call it that. It's my design, so I designed all the parts for this. This new part's actually Dad's design, just because I was busy flying when he designed this. But yeah, sort of, my brainchild with Impulse RC carbon, so it's super, super high stiffness.
Mm-hmm.
Then for motors, BMS Raptor series. I was running the gold lines because it's just open class, so I was going to run 6S for this.
Yeah.
Props, I've just switched to the R42s. They were based on the 5146 that I was running last year, and these are just a revised version. So same top speed. I think they come in 0.1 of a gram heavier, but the airfoil is much more efficient. So you actually end up drawing less power for the same speed. Then TBS antenna, TBS, was it Triumph Pro UFL?
Yeah.
I run the SMA for things like IO. And then under the pod, we've got...
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, that was sick. People are going to watch that and be like, send that to me right now.
It's pretty good. It's handy. I love it. But yeah, we got the Foxia Predator V4 with I think it's a 1.7 millimeter lens. I'm not sure. Mine aren't labeled because they're the prototype ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got that, and then we've got I'm running the Unify Pro 32 because I like having the ability to go up to all the milliwatts. For things like if you get some race leagues overseas will want higher milliwatts for like videos and stuff. And then also if I do like park flying and that. Otherwise for normal racing, just the normal TBS Unify Pro Nano is fine. Then you can't really see it in there. Which way am I pointing? There we go.
Yeah.
Crossfire I'm running. I've heard the Futaba receivers are really good too, but I'm all on the Crossfire train. And then
are you flying the Tango 2 or are you flying something else?
I am switching between the Tango 2 and the Futaba right now. I have no idea what I'm going to be running.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk more about that in a sec. Just quickly, Talon F7. I'm not sure what I'll be using for the rest of the year. This is just what I could get at the time, but it's really, really good. This is the Fusion. We actually had a bad batch of these, but one of the guys I know has got like 7, and they all work flawlessly. So I think it was just I was unlucky. Then the Hobby Wing 40 amp 2020.
Everybody runs that.
It's really good. It's not really good, but they nailed it.
I've asked so many people. I'm like, okay, if I want a 4-in-1, what do I get? And it's always, no matter what size, Hobby Wing.
Yeah, Hobby Wing, they've done a really good job of their stuff.
Yeah,
and this just pops on.
Dude, that's so cool. That's a great design right there.
Thanks.
That's a great design. Tell your dad good job.
Yeah, that was my bit actually.
You designed that?
Yeah. So yeah, the whole frame. So all the carbon's my design.
Yeah.
The pod clips was mine. Dad modified it by he had to make the camera hole a bit bigger for the newer lenses. But other than that, though, this is my design. And then this top piece here, this is the new piece. Before that, it was just an SMA mount.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I'll call Dad over it for it. Hey, Dad, can you get me a JS1 with an SMA? I'll get that. That was the part that I designed.
Yeah.
This is just recent, just to drop weight.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I mean, that's a great design.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's just like pretty simple. You just pop it off, and then
Yeah.
2 bolts. So you take
Mhm.
this bolt off and this bolt off,
Mhm.
and then this is just held on by a clip. There's like a standoff in this TPU piece that's held on, but then it's just clipped at the back, so you can take that off and get full access to the VTX RX, and then you undo these 2 bolts and the camera bolt, and then you got full access down to the ESC level. So
That's awesome.
super serviceable. Did that bring
behind you?
Yes, he did. Oh, Dad's filming now.
Good, he's
Hey, join
good,
in.
yeah.
Play.
I think keep going.
Okay, fine. This is the SMA version that I designed.
Okay.
This quad's seen better days.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's seen a little bit of use.
Yeah, this was last year's red quad. So it's been running for over a year now.
Yeah.
So getting a little old, but still kicking it. This
great.
one, this is new red.
Yeah.
Fresh build. So yeah, but this guy's been running for a year, and that's the SMA one, just so.
Yeah.
For things like IO, left hand, right hand, nice and easy.
Yeah.
And this one's 30 by 30. Last year's setup.
Okay. Yeah. I'm still on ancient equipment, so I won't tell you what I'm running.
It's fine. You can share with the curve here.
Yeah, I'm still running F3 boards and D-Shot 600 ESCs, but I only fly.
Yeah,
D-Shot
600 is good.
Yeah. Well, it was. I think I don't. Half the time I don't even know what I'm flying. It's just kind of like, okay, well, these look good. I'll get
Yeah,
those.
well, once it's set up, I think you sort of enjoy the flying aspect. With the Tango, so here's the deal with it, right?
Yeah.
The whole focus on the Tango was basically good ergonomics, really good gimbals, and then the good software to back it up, so it's all synced up properly and works really well with your flight controls and that. So really built around multi-rotors. XJet did a video on how to make it fly with like FR Sky and that,
yeah.
which is pretty sick. But that's pretty much the whole focus of the Tango. So the gimbals they've nailed, and that protocol they got really good to the point where looking at the logs at the moment where they're at, they might be outperforming Futaba.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and this is where it's kind of hard because I'm switching between the Futaba and the Tango, and I'm setting the same lap times. I'll set a really good time with the Futaba, I'll switch to the Tango, set just as good a lap time. I learned a lot about ergonomics from the Tango and the way the gimbals are positioned, so I've actually adjusted my Futaba like a week before this race. I made some tweaks to the where I had the stick ends positioned, and I'm preferring it now just because I've so I've run it for a week or whatever without changing back. But the Tango has a lot to offer, and that portability is like really hard to beat. Here's the Tango. So I just got a production one, not this one, but it's at home, and I'm gonna full kit it out because this is running the high tension springs because we don't have the low tension ones when we got this at FAI. Travi just gave it to us and said you can't show anyone, and then we just had to walk across the whole field without showing people. So yeah,
Didn't even make you sign an NDA, did he?
Yeah, just don't show anyone. Tell me what you think when you get back. And we were just all focused on that protocol testing. The other people were for long range. Our goal was purely how does it go on the racetrack? How's it performing? And with all the logging and stuff we've done, it's just like the software's just been getting better and better. That's what I'm running normally now. This is actually my dad's radio, but mine's the same anyway, and mine's set up like with the same height for the stick ends and whatever. Yeah, but the thing is, this is I think in Australia, $1,500. So what's that in USD?
I say 1,500 Australian, and say for the other one be about 350.
This is about 350 Australian.
That's insane.
So it's a big difference. But we pay for these, right? So I kind of don't want to phase it out.
Right.
So it's hard to say. I mean, the fact it's even a competition, I think, says a lot already. It's just especially with the fact they've got that software and the gimbals paired up so nicely. For multi-rotor specifically, it's really good because you're getting a really clean signal to the flight controller, and that means the tune can get a lot tighter. And that's sort of where it makes it hard, where it's I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I think I prefer the wider stance of the Futaba just because I'm used to a bigger radio. Because before that I had the Tyrannus for 6 years, and then before that I had the 9X for 2 years, and then Dad's old Futaba, whatever's before then, old FM stuff. So it's like, I'm very used to the boxy style, but then I'm setting the same lap times with this, so I don't know. It's
Well, and you know, here's the thing that I've really noticed. Like the hardware has definitely progressed over the last. So I've been in this since 2016, right? So like I've seen the evolution from kind of F1 to F3 and then F3 and above. But
yeah,
up
sort of right
until
when braking, like motor braking and stuff started getting good.
right, yeah. So that, you know, all of a sudden, you know, it really hit me very specifically that the electronics are really, like, they're getting better, but it's the software that's progressing rapidly. And it, you know, I look at what TBS has done, I look at how they tend to build forward thinking ideas into their products, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, right now it's already competitive with this, you know, super high end Futaba controller, but in a year, what are they going to do with the software? Like, will it be past it?
They've got some crazy stuff planned.
Yeah.
Software,
I mean, and like, you know, forking, was it Free Sky, the FR Sky protocol, or I can't remember, OpenTX, you know, forking OpenTX and building in everything they wanted, and then they're talking about merging it back in, and I'm like, no, you guys be stupid to do that. Like,
they got some good connections now. A lot of that happened because start of last year, it was like I was waiting for some Flight 1 parts for like 4 months or something. It was like, because I just done the DR1 series in 2018, and so coming off that, I had like 3 races straight after that, so there was no point switching because I was just used to the Flight 1 ecosystem. But yeah, I eventually couldn't get parts, and so I had a race coming up like 3 weeks, and I had frames ready, but I had nothing to put in them. So it was sort of, okay, we're just going to get whatever we can. So we got the T-Motor ESCs and the Foxia flight controllers. And it was like, okay, so let's try to work out BetaFlight again. And I was flying, and it was like, it was more consistent than Flight 1, but it just, like, when Flight 1 was at its best, it was just like noticeably more comfortable. So I was sort of like, this feels like a bit of a compromise. And then I got in contact with one of my dev friends, and I was saying, hey, this is what I'm feeling right now. You know, can you help me with it? And then they were sort of like, oh, it's just because you don't know how to tune. Let's like run through it from the start and see how it goes. And I'm like, okay, I don't agree with all the ideas you've got. You were showing me some of these ideas with tuning. I was like, I don't agree with them, but let's just, like, if you think it's right, tune it. Make it happen. So we started tuning, and it got better than what I had, but there was still stuff that was missing. And so from there, we just started going through all the black box logs and analyzing things. And I was talking about this is where it feels better. And then look, okay, it turns out that can actually be improved. Let's rewrite a bit of code. And at this point, it was all like stuff for me. And they were like not going to release it to other people because it was like, oh, it's just for you. Other people aren't going to want this because it's not the direction that the hobby is going to go in, and whatever. They want to take BetaFlight some other direction. But then, like, me and this dev started getting like really good progress, right? And then it got to the point where I'm at the Australian International Airshow drone race as a VIP for military demonstrations with the military drone racing team, and then also racing in the civilian class, right? So I'm doing that, and I'm flying sort of one of my last working Flight 1 quad, and then flying this, you know, the new BetaFlight quads, just sort of playing with it because it's like 6 days of racing. So it was like I had time. And then going through it, I'm like, the Slalom's Flight 1's feeling better, and for sure. Like other areas, like I think we've got like really good performance, but like definitely like there was better performance that we were missing. And I was with this, the dev was like, there's something I actually suspected might be happening, but I've never been able to actually test it. So we have a look at the log, and sure enough, there's like that bit of data he needed, and he just like in an hour sent me a new code. And it's just like in the middle of a race, you're
flashing firmware.
I flash the firmware because like the other thing is too, the devs like never release a code that'll like send you pod to the moon, right? Like it might not always be better, but it'll always work. So it's like at this point, like we'd made heaps of progress over the last couple of weeks, and I'm just like, I trust him. What's the worst that could happen, right? So I just like flash this code, go in, and on a 9-second lap, I drop like 0.4 of a second. Someone's like an 8.6.
Wow.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Like this thing just went from being like really stable, but it was like just missing a little bit of resolution in some areas to being just like, I never had a quad fly this good in my life. And I ended up like that night, I got that video, quickly made an edit and just unlisted shared it with him, right? Just like, hey, this is your code flying. This is the race that just won, right? That unlisted video got like 80 views.
Look at this.
Yeah, and then from there, it's just sort of like all the shit. Like, okay, check out this new firmware that we've been building. This is what so-and-so's came up with. Let's try this, right? And just from that point on, we just started improving the code more and more and more and more. And it's like, we noticed there was some issues with OpenTX. And so it's like, okay, let's see if we can try optimize for this, right? Started making optimizations. By that point too, that we realized my radio was dying. And so I ended up switching. That's when I decided to go with the Futaba. Because the Tango, which we already knew was coming out, Travis was like, oh, we don't know how soon it's going to be. You're probably better off just buying another radio. So we ended up going with the Futaba. And that helped a little bit. Started learning off of that, what it's doing, what Crossfire is actually doing when it was talking to the flight controller. And then we started, I was like, there was some stuff that we found that was a little bit wrong. Like it's something you wouldn't notice normally.
Right.
But sort of at the pace we're traveling at with all the performance trying to get out of it, there was stuff that could be improved with the protocol, right? And we just noticed some issues with like packets not being sent correctly and all that for, the multi-rotor stuff that we do. So I ended up getting Trappy and this dev, and I made a chat just called Super Fast Protocol Things. And I'm like, okay, here's the deal. This is what we've found. Make happen. And so they just started talking, Trappy and obviously had their ideas of like, oh, no, this is actually how it's supposed to work. And the BetaFlight devs obviously had their ideas. But then like across the way with the black box logs, and okay, try this, try that. They started sort of ending up on the same sort of mindset. And then all of a sudden on both fronts, they started improving their code even more. And this was sort of like just before 4.1 came out.
Yeah.
All the 4.1 development sort of came from that. And then just like all the other stuff that's happened in the background and then all the software improvements led to sort of, okay, well, they reckon now they can get more performance out of this guy. And they started playing with code for this thing. And now it's just like, it's ridiculous. So yeah, that was cool. I'm really happy with how all that stuff came out.
Yeah.
It was like, I got to see all that develop. That was cool.
Well, I mean, you were their guinea pig.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was like, especially when they got a new code they were excited about. Like someone was like, oh, this code hasn't been touched in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we think we've made an improvement to it. And then you try, and you can just see like the little trace of your set point versus your gyro is that little bit closer. Yeah. And it's like at the really high like rate movements, you can see it's actually just tracking perfectly. It's like, yes. And it's like, it's always like you'll be flying something, you'll be like, this is perfect, it can't get better. And then like 4 months later, they'll be like, try this. And it's like, how did perfect just get better? It's awesome. It's really great. Like all the progress they've made has just been ridiculous. And then even what it's opened up with, looking at even like the efficiency of different setups and how we can analyze all that. It's actually kind of funny because before this I was so anti black box data and stuff like that. I was like, oh, there's no need for it. You can just tune it by feel. I can't live without black box nowadays. It's like everything.
Wow,
check it with the black box. How are our props doing? Check it with the black box. I'm not sure about a setup. Check it with black box. Make sure their arms are not damaged. So it's sort of gone the full other way now, where we're doing so much telemetry analysis. But all the progress we've made from that over the last year has been ridiculous. So yeah, that's the stuff. I guess with me, I mean, with the frame designing and all that. As much as I'm a pilot, I love the engineering aspect. Like I'd be perfectly fine designing quads all day. Sometimes I do design quads all day. So it's just like having that sort of that telemetry side of it and working with the production of things, creating the BMS motor series and designing that. And, the engineer showed me, okay, this isn't designed well for machine. This is how you need to do it. And, this is how a stator is manufactured and whatever. It's like going through all of that. I really, really enjoy. So it's sort of that last year we're seeing the software side of it, and then how we've even made other improvements, or like realized something that I thought was better for X reason was actually better because of Y, or actually something I thought but I couldn't prove before. Yeah, we've proven it. This is actually, it looks like it's going in the right direction from the data we've got. I love that stuff. I love all the analysis stuff. I think I love the analysis as much as I love flying. So
we're so far off field, but I love this. Have you ever flown the It's Jennifer Minus and her business partner.
Oh, the brain.
The brain.
The Radix. Yeah.
Yeah, the Radix. Thank you, the Radix. Yeah. Have you flown one of those?
Yeah, I've got one. I actually have one here with me.
Okay.
They're good. They've got that spectrographic analyzer instead of black box.
Okay.
I prefer the black box because it's the way I'm used to seeing information.
Okay.
The spectrograph, I think it's more for filter tuning from what I read about it.
Okay.
And it's something that I'm not as confident in. So I prefer black box. Having said that, that quad still flies really great. And hardware wise, that FC seems really good from a reliability standpoint. So
yeah,
I think that we're getting the quality control of that really good.
Yeah, no, I seeing TBS pair with them, and then I've actually had some conversations with her, and I know her background, and I'm like, it sounds
pretty cool.
It sounds pretty awesome. So
yeah, I like the way they sort of like have their customer service and that, and sort of it's very like almost like family, like when you're talking to them. It's pretty. They're cool people.
Sometimes I sit back and think, what would I do if I could design my own equipment? How would I handle that? What would I do? Quite frankly, I'd probably be pretty terrible at it. I mean, there's some things that I do like, but a lot of times I just sort of, just go with the flow, right? Anyways, Thomas is amazing. I've had a great time interviewing him. And the next episode, you will hear something different, probably the mind of a racer. And if you hear it, you will be shocked. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.